Hey BookTube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. I'm so glad you're here. Happy Friday. It was a short week for me, but it was a really weird week. On Wednesday afternoon, all of a sudden in the back of my head, and I have epilepsy for those of you who don't know, all of a sudden the back of my head, it starts to feel like it's buzzing. And I'm just like, what is that? And I would like put my hand in my head and then it would stop. And then I would take my hand away and it would start like, okay, the only two ways I can think of to describe it are A, like there's a bee trapped between my scalp and my skull, or like there's like a little stray piece of lightning. And it was somehow in this part of my head. Now with my epilepsy, I've never had that happen before. And so I kind of freaked out, called the neurologist's office. We played Ring Around the Phone, which just drove me crazy. But anyway, so I'm going to go to the neurology office next week, I think, and yeah, see what they think. Unfortunately, like if you Google like buzzing at the back of your head, there are a bajillion possibilities. Some of them are physical, some of them are neurological. But yeah, so anyway, so that was really weird. My dad has had his, he's going to have surgery on his spine. I'm trying not to think too much about that, but I've been working really hard to like try to save my time off so that if he did have surgery, I could go and help my parents. And when I say help them, it doesn't mean like I would be nursing my dad or anything like that. It would really be about taking care of their, I think, 4 wild cats outside, and then their super cute domesticated cat. So it's a lot of time to be at my parents' house. But I hope that I can serve as a distraction, and I certainly hope that this surgery will alleviate some of my dad's pain, that he'll be able to walk better. So, yeah, so that's, anyway, it's really I'm really starting to like rethink what I'm going to read this month, the videos I want to do this month, because at the end of this month, it's my BookTube anniversary, and I wanted to like celebrate all month long, but of course I haven't quite got there yet. We will be celebrating, I promise. I do have at least one book lined up as a giveaway. Anyway, so I said a while back that on Friday Reads I was going to talk about a couple channels or something to shout out, and so I was so happy this week. 2 booktubers, one of whom doesn't really need a shout out or anything like that, but I was so happy to see that Claudia from Spinster's Library is coming back. I don't know if she's coming back as a host for Jane Austen July. She was last year, but I'm just really glad that she is coming back to BookTube, because I really find her content quite interesting. And yeah, I don't ever want to get in a fight with her though. Like, she's really fierce. Anyway, and then I was so happy. A little tiny booktuber, you guys need to go and all check her out. Melissa Furman came back after a year of being gone on BookTube. I saw her on Instagram once. Whatever. Anyway, I saw something she posted on Instagram, and I'm like, hey, where have you been? She posted a video last summer. I still remember it. It was just absolutely hysterical. She was like I don't know if it was a TBR or wrap up or something like that. But like her neighbor started mowing their lawn like in the middle of her video. She just completely lost it on camera and had the guts to just leave it all in too. So it was great. But anyway, I will link to Melissa's channel down below, and yeah, and Claudia as well, Claudia. And the other video that I watched that I wanted to mention is Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads is participating in 7 booktube events this summer. I hats off to Greg for doing that. Very, very impressive. Some of them are like, I think, book club kind of more things rather than booktube events. He's not participating in Jane Austen July. I don't know why. Greg, why? But he is participating in an event that I'm not participating in this year, but I really hope that it returns so that I can participate in it in the future. And that is June on the Range, which is all about Westerns. And I have seen so many people talk about how they are going to read The Virginian this month. Oh my gosh! Owen Wister's The Virginian. I once saw a booktuber that I dearly love, like, unhaul this book at a little free library, and it was just like, it's one of the few times when you're watching a video and you just start screaming. You just start shrieking like, ah, don't put it in the little free library. Like, give it to me. Give it to me. I'll give it away. I'll find a home for it. Like, why are you putting it in the little free library? So Owen Wister's The Virginian is, I think, largely considered to be the first Western. So I think that's fantastic that so many people are reading it. It is set in my part of the world. You can come to Wyoming and stay in places where Owen Wister worked on The Virginian. You can also, go to places that Hemingway spent the night in and things like that. But we have a lot of like people traveling through Wyoming that are famous and stop somewhere along the way. It's like an excellent book. Thumbs up to all of you who are reading this for June on the Range. And like I said, next year, I'm hoping I would really like to participate somehow in June on the Range. And yeah, it's just so cool. This and Lonesome Dove, I'm so excited for all of you who get to read that and for the first time and experience that. It's wonderful. So my reading, I am going to get to this. I will get to this. I'm planning this weekend to read more from American Primitive by Mary Oliver. So what I've read, I love. I just haven't had a chance to really, sit down. It is very much nature poetry, or what I would consider nature poetry. So it's kind of a nice time of year to read that. But yeah, I would really like to have this done before I go and see my family. Yeah, so that would be a goal. I also, I got caught up, but now I'm behind again in Shakespeare for Every Day of the Year, which is edited or compiled, by Allie Esiri. I'm not sure how to say that. So anyway, I got caught up and now I'm behind again, but that's okay. I really want to read a good chunk of this weekend. And again, I'd love to be done with June before I go and see my family. So, those are a couple goals. What have I actually been reading? Guys, I have been reading The Women's Room by Marilyn French. And it is really, it's kind of blowing my mind a little bit. I talked to Jason. I tried talking to Jason about it, and you know, it's really hard for me to try to constantly, because this is a novel, so this is not nonfiction. This is a novel, although I have a feeling that a lot of it is that there's a lot of truth in here. I have to keep reminding myself like what time period we are within the book, as well as the fact that it was published in 1977. So there's a few times where Marilyn French kind of steps out and uses some words that I'm not really comfortable with, to describe these housewives and how they're treated. And yeah, so anyway, really, really thought-provoking book. Anyway, like I was saying, when I was talking to Jason about it, he's like, oh, well, you should read this as a buddy read. And I'm like, man, I'm almost halfway done. So it's too late to do the buddy read of The Women's Room. But I would really, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'd really like to talk. If anybody has read this, if you'd like to talk about it on Voxer, let me know. I can see why it was probably a watershed book when it was published. But anyway, so I might have to bring this up with like my mother and see what she thinks of some of the things in here. It's definitely talking about some subjects that I'm sure at the time, you know, people weren't writing about, especially in terms of women. So yeah, some good quotes in here. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to develop, because there's kind of like this funky structure to it that's in different times. And so I'm kind of looking forward to maybe when we get to not the past, but like the moment, or this group of women at I think they're all at Harvard together, and they've all been, you know, for the most part, housewives before, really, really smart housewives. This has been fascinating, and I'm really, really excited to continue to read this. Just gonna grab my mug. I'm enjoying a bit of tea. It's super, super cold in the basement of our house. I would love to hear, what are you guys reading? Are you participating in any events this month? What kind of events? Because I'm sure there are a lot of things that I don't know about. And even Greg's video with the 7 events this summer, there were things that I wasn't familiar with, so it was really, really interesting to hear about. Tell me what you're reading in the comment section down below. If you don't feel comfortable, you know, leaving a comment, you can leave an emoji. That's fine. Give this video a thumbs up if you want. So I'm just so glad you're here. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Have a great weekend, and remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others. Bye.